Police are calling a case of domestic violence, the next steps in that case. And a new levy, supporters say, will help alleviate traffic across central Ohio by adding more COTA buses to the roads. How much it could cost you, the taxpayer. 10 TV News at noon starts now. And we are starting with a weather alert this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on 10 TV News at noon. I'm Tracy Townsend. We're expecting temperatures of at least 90 degrees every day this week. Doppler 10 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud joins us now. Dylan, it looks like the heat is coming here to stay for a minute.
Tracy, you are already feeling it outside right now. The air temperature at the airport, 90, but like we've been saying, the humidity is going to build and build and build this week. 97 is the current heat index. We're still an hour away from lunchtime. That is quite remarkable this early in the day. Head up to Delaware. The heat index isn't quite as bad, but man, look at Marysville, also 95, 93 down to the south in Circleville. So that is not fun. Now, it gets worse from here. Look at Friday going into Saturday. Heat indices around 105, 106. Eventually it gets a little bit better going into Sunday and Monday, but man, it's not going to be fun over the next couple of days. This afternoon, we are full throttle in this heat wave. 92 degrees here at about 3 p.m. and then looking at temperatures warming on up to about 96 by 6 p.m. in the evening. Temperatures over the next 7 days remain warm, about 15 to 20 degrees above normal. The hottest day will be on Friday, will be about 16 degrees above average by that point in time. Coming up, though, in a few minutes, we might get a few downpours that could cool us off this afternoon. We'll talk about the timing of that coming up in just a bit.
Dylan, thank you. And today, of course, the weather is what we're talking about in our What's Going Around report, specifically how to make sure your children are safe. It's summer break. They want to be outside. And really, it's okay if you take some precautions. The American Academy of Pediatrics says it's important to plan ahead. Start with a good, healthy meal and hydration. You can even send the kids out with a water bottle. Sunscreen is critical. You want to apply it and then reapply it, especially when your kids are out in the backyard for a couple of hours or if they are at the pool or the splash pad. Watch for symptoms of heat exhaustion. That would be pulse, pulse fast and weak, muscle cramps, arms, legs, stomach, elevated body temperature, and extreme thirst. Those are things you want to watch out for. We also talked with an emergency room doctor from the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center about the common heat-related cases he sees during these times. 10 TV News reporter Kiara Lake explains.
During this time, he says he sees a lot of people that are out in the sun or the heat for too long. Because of this, they're either overheated as well as dehydrated. So he filled us in on the signs of heat exhaustion. This includes weakness or fatigue, a fast heart rate, and muscle cramps. A more severe presentation would be heat stroke. That's when people begin feeling confused, have severe weakness and dry skin. And Dr. Henry Young says this is when people should seek medical attention. The Columbus Division of Fire reports they responded to 78 heat emergencies last summer, and of those, 44 were taken to the hospital for treatment or evaluation. So if you're starting to feel these symptoms, he says get out of the sun and get into a shaded or cool place if you can't get inside for air conditioning, and drink cool liquids.
Avoid sugary beverages because that can actually exacerbate some of the symptoms, but if that's all available, then that's fine. But ideally it'll be water or drinking something like a sports drink like Gatorade or Powerade or Body Armor because as we're sweating, we're losing salt, not just water.
He says during this week, he wants to make sure you drink plenty of liquids to make sure you're staying hydrated in these hot temperatures, and make sure you wear plenty of sunscreen. Reporting in Columbus, Kiara Lake, 10 TV News.
And as you heard Dylan say just a short time ago, we could see a few pop-up showers today. Before you leave the house, make sure you have our free 10 TV app downloaded. That way you'll get any kind of weather alerts sent to your phone as they come in. Continuing coverage this afternoon after a 19-year-old woman and her unborn baby died after what police are calling a domestic situation. 23-year-old Devin Blair is now in custody. Police have charged him with murder after they say he beat 19-year-old Brooke Deviney. She was pronounced dead yesterday morning. Blair has a history of domestic violence against Deviney. He pleaded guilty to a domestic violence charge after being arrested back in December. He was out on a $350,000 bond. Last Thursday, Deviney had filed a police report after she says Blair punched her and threatened to kill her. There was an active warrant out for Blair's arrest.
That's why we urge, if you are a victim of domestic violence, if you know anyone who's a victim, urge them to reach out for help. They can call the police, obviously, if they're a victim, and we can file charges against the suspect, hopefully get them in custody and get them off the street. Or they can reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline and work through ways of getting away from their violent offenders.
Blair was originally set to be arraigned in court this morning, but his appearance was moved to tomorrow for medical reasons. Here's what we know about his criminal history. He was out on bond in December for domestic assault and strangulation charges involving Daveni. However, the strangulation charge was dropped. You may remember this. The state changed its laws on strangulation, making it a felony charge last year. Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein says arresting and prosecuting suspects in these cases is a top priority.
These are very troubling and dangerous people, and they're dangerous cases, and so that we have to work together, and that partnership that we have with the Division of Police helps build the evidence in the right packet so that the prosecutors at the county level can put these people behind bars where they belong.
And the attorney there speaking to some cadets in training there, some officers in training. But so far, there have been 5 domestic violence deaths in the city this year. As a reminder, if you or someone you know feels unsafe, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the number right there on your screen, 1-800-799-7233. As you see here, it's free, it's 24/7 in its availability, and you can contact them to get support where you live. This afternoon, one person is recovering after being shot in the knee while celebrating Eid al-Adha, a major Islamic holiday. Columbus police tell us this group was gathered at a park on Eureka Avenue at around 2 o'clock this morning. They say an unknown suspect began firing at them with a rifle. The person who was shot was driven to a local hospital for treatment. New at noon, right now, city leaders are holding a news conference to kick off a new levy campaign for CODA. Columbus City Mayor Andrew Ginther says over the next 25 years, Columbus is expected to get more than 1 million new residents. And to get ready for that growth, city leaders say it's essential to improve the transit system with more bus lines, bikeways, and sidewalks. Now, this proposed levy would increase the current sales tax by half of a penny. But CODA leaders say that increase would generate $6.5 billion in the next 30 years.
Everybody should care about this because it's not just about those who use public transportation. Again, we're creating, if we have 1 million new people, we're going to be stuck in traffic, and we need to have many more transportation options to really embrace that growth.
And again, city leaders, including Mayor Ginther, will be there. Voters in all of CODA's service territory will be able to vote on this issue. Happening today, state leaders are set to announce a new strategy they say will reduce traffic congestion and increase safety on US 23 between Worthington and Waldo. The announcement today is based off of feedback from public meetings from late last year. Governor Mike DeWine will be there and in attendance along with leaders from ODOT. This takes place this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Coming up today on 10 TV News at noon, find out why the United States Surgeon General is demanding Congress put a warning label on social media apps. Plus, summer hasn't really even started yet, but the U.S. could see some 200 new heat records broken this week. Where it's happening and why. Welcome back. In New For You at Noon, U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy is demanding Congress put a warning label on social media apps similar to the labels you see on cigarettes and alcohol. Dr. Murthy cited social media as an important contributor to the ongoing mental health crisis among young people. He says teens who spend 3 hours a day on social media double their risk of depression. According to a recent Gallup poll, teenagers spend nearly 5 hours a day on those apps. Dr. Murthy says Congress passing warning label legislation could lead to a decline in use. If you have pets at home, you are going to want to see this. We have some expert advice on how to keep your four-legged family members cool.
And put on the sunblock. Check this out. UV index today at a 10, and that's on a scale of 1 to 11. So we're talking a sunburn in as little as 15 minutes. I'll be back with a look at your weather report.
TV's Digital Broadcast Center is sponsored by Lindsay Honda.
Oh, the first day of summer is Thursday, but Mother Nature is getting an early start this year. An exceptionally strong heat dome is baking parts of the U.S., and it's spreading. The United States could see almost 200 new or tied heat records this week, spanning more than a dozen states. Parts of the Southwest are at risk for wildfires. Right now, several are in fact burning in California, including near Los Angeles. Again, technically summer doesn't start until Thursday, but this powerful heat dome is stretching across the nation, and those trap hot air in place and can make each day more sweltering than the last.
A lot of these records begin in the south before finally spreading northward and eastward in the coming days.
And these multi-day heat waves are happening 3 times as often as they did in the 1960s. They're lasting longer, and the EPA says it's because of more concrete and the changing climate worldwide. Right here in Central Ohio, we are in a heat alert, weather alert rather. And of course, the EPA talking about the air quality and how that can also affect the health for people who are elderly or have pre-existing conditions.
Exactly. When you're adding in that heat dome, like you just mentioned, that's trapping all that pollution that normally gets ventilated into the upper troposphere down at the surface. And so we're going to be looking at that low ozone over the next few days. Take a look right there from the camera, and you can actually see it is hazier than normal. Typically, you can see 10, 12, 14, 16 miles. Not today, because we are looking at that low pollution in place. And typically, day one of the heat wave is normally the milder day. Normally, the air quality gets worse and worse as you go into the future. Level 1 to 6 right now, we're looking at a level 2. It's moderate, but that likely will get worse as we go into the next few days. 90 out there right now. This number isn't what is most important. This number is right here, and actually that's actually incorrect. That needs to be updated. It's actually 97 right now, the heat index. If you're going to be outside walking your dog today, if you haven't yet walked your dog, well, you probably shouldn't this afternoon. Days like today, the outside air temperature, if it's 90, 95, asphalt can get up to 140, 155 degrees. So it's definitely not safe to be doing that. Temperatures over the next few days, 83 is the average. And man, we're going up, up, up. 98 Thursday, 99 as we go into the day on Friday. Make sure to find a way to keep cool. Also, humidity will be super high, at least through Saturday. Once you get dew points here in the 60s, that's when things become a lot more uncomfortable out there. All right, so high pressure is down to our southeast. That's going to keep the sunshine with us. I do want to draw your attention off to the west, though. Got a little piece of energy, and as this kind of rotates around that upper level high, we may see a few pop-up showers developing as early as this afternoon. Let's stop it right here. So this is about 3 p.m. And this is around the hottest time of the day, between about 3 to 6 p.m. So you have a lot of humid conditions. Also, it's very hot out there. So that could trigger that convection to start popping up a few showers and storms. That trend will continue here as we head towards the evening hours. And at 5 p.m., again, that continues. And then around 7, 8 o'clock, the sun gets lower in the sky. Rain chances will get kicked to the wayside and things will improve. All right, the next 6 days, including today, of course, we have that chance of for very hot weather. We have that weather alert that has been issued. 99 on Friday. That is the hottest day. But now, as of this morning, we actually added Saturday as a weather alert day too, because we're looking at temperatures around 97. By Sunday, finally gets a little bit cooler. I think the rain on Sunday will do wonders. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're back to the upper end of the 80s. And nighttime lows finally get down to the 60s. So at least by that point in time, we get some mild relief at night. And we have better rain chances next week. But next few days, make sure to stay hydrated and stay inside if possible. Tracy.
All right, thank you. Now at noon, as we continue to track those 90-plus degree weather days in Central Ohio, we're talking about the safety of your pets. Veterinary experts want to remind you that they're not like humans. They respond differently to the heat. In fact, experts say a heat stroke can happen quickly with animals. Here's some symptoms to look out for: heavy panting, drooling, excessive thirst, mild weakness, and even some vomiting. Columbus Humane also lists English bulldogs, French bulldogs, and pugs as dog breeds that are more likely to have heat stroke. And if you own a dog with long hair, these same experts say shaving off the hair during these hot summer days can do more harm than good.
That double coat actually helps keep them cool in the summer, in addition to keeping them warm in the winter. So that's something that's really common. People will sort of intuitively think, oh, I'll shave my long-haired dog or shave my long-haired cat in the summer to help them cool off, and actually it does them more harm than good.
And the Humane Society says if your pet does suffer a heat stroke, you want to move them into the shade or an air-conditioned area, apply ice packs or cold towels to their head, neck, and chest, and then let them drink small amounts of cool water and get them to the vet. In extreme heat like today, it's important not to turn your air conditioning off, especially when you leave the house. Financial experts say to keep your home at 78 degrees when you are there. This will help cut costs on your monthly energy bill. When you leave, turn the temperature right on up to 80 and keep your curtains or blinds closed to block out the sunlight in an effort to keep things cool in your house. We also want to help you beat the heat this summer. 10 TV is partnering with Life Care Alliance and 97.1 The Fan for our annual Beat the Heat fan drive. It runs from June 20th through August 31st. We will be kicking that fan drive off Thursday right here at the 10 TV studios. You can drop off a box fan here. We are at 770 Twin Rivers Drive from 11 to 6:30 p.m. So 11 in the morning until 6:30 p.m. We'll have some ice treats there for you from noon until 2. If you can't make it out to the fan drive on the 20th, text the word HEAT to 614-460-3345. That will get you a list of drop-off locations, and you can find one near you, again, for that box fan for someone who's going to need that. Still ahead today, it's Pride Month. We're taking a look at one of the city's longest standing lesbian bars and the woman who runs it. People and places that make us proud to live here in Columbus, and that includes Summit Station, Ohio's longest running lesbian bar. P.D. Brown bought Summit Station back in 1971 and ran it for nearly 40 years. It was a safe space for lesbians to have breakups, makeups, and community in a world that did not always accept them. Julia Applegate used to go to Summit Station, and she says it was like a second home.
The homophobia was so thick on the outside world that stepping through that door was almost magical.
And Applegate is part of a group that got a historical marker placed outside of Summit Station last year. Now she's working on another project to make sure the station is never forgotten. We have more on that tonight on 10 TV News starting at 5. Before we leave, just a quick reminder or two about the forecast.
Next few days, we're really full throttle into this heat wave. The hottest days being Thursday and Friday. And that's actually some new data. At first, it was looking more like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now we've kind of shifted the timing of when that heat dome will be directly on top of us. Sunday, we have some showers. That will be our saving grace. Then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we are back into the 80s, which, by the way, will feel refreshing after all this extreme heat. 87 has never looked so nice.
Yes, look forward to that. In the meantime, hydrate and take care. Check on your neighbors. Have a great afternoon, everyone.